Very welcome all of you. So today's topic about custom made medical devices. Okay. So I'm going to explain these custom made medical devices with respect to the European medical device regulation perspectives. Okay. So let's first understand, because see, as its name suggests, the custom made and medical devices. So some medical devices which is specifically designed for some specific people or some specific uses. So let's first understand this. The first things before getting into this, one thing I just want to tell you, like this custom made medical devices was not earlier covered by these MDD, means medical device directives. So earlier these custom made medical devices was not covered with MDD, but with the MDR it is covered, but it is not as much stringent as other devices. And why? We're going to explain it. So let's understand this. So what is the prerequisite condition for the custom medical devices? Like if any manufacturer and want to tell regulatory bodies that this particular medical device they manufactured, this comes under the custom made medical devices, and so they need to clarify what were the reasons, like they need to give some particular technical document set, and then particular whatever the reasons for getting any kind of approval for marketing that custom made medical devices. And one thing just need to remember, this custom made medical device, for marketing of these custom made medical devices you doesn't need CE certification, at least for the European medical medical device market. In according to the European medical device regulations, you don't need CE certification for the custom made medical devices. Now, and why? So that also going to explain later. So suppose for prerequisite condition for the custom and medical device manufacturing, the first, any low bind persons who have authority to prescribe any particular set of medical device parameters or functions or anything, like we can say in medical device terminology, that is the prescriptions. So any person who are authorized to give that particular prescription for any kind of particular medical device, then the manufacturing that particular medical device, then the manufacturer can manufacture that. So that is the prerequisite conditions. But that particular medical device can be used in particular people, or in not particular people, in particular person, as a person they can use. Because suppose any authorized person who prescribe a set of medical device or some set of medical device with some set of parameters, and manufacturer manufacturing that medical device in a bulk. Okay, you get a prescriber, you get a prescriptions, and after getting prescriptions and all, you manufacturing that particular medical devices in a bulk. Then if you manufacturing in a bulk, then that is not comes under the custom made medical device. Okay, now I'm going to tell you why also, step by step. So that is one difference. Always remember, the custom made medical device, any manufacturer, if they want to claim that whatever they manufacture is a custom made medical devices, then they need a prescriber, which is low bind prescriber, like who has an authority by national law, who have an authority to give a prescriptions. And once he gives the prescriptions, we manufacture, then that particular device should be used in, so like in a particular person or in particular individual, they can use. It has not going to be manufactured in the bulk, it has not going to be manufactured in a bulk of people something, because then that is not comes under the custom and medical devices. So that is the first things. So till this time what we understand, the condition which is required for claiming that it is a custom and medical devices. Another thing we understand, that custom medical device doesn't need a CE certification for the market. The second thing we understand. Now what is the third thing? So in a case of third scenario, so custom made medical devices regulations, because MDT doesn't have, third point is that medical device directive doesn't have any law on a custom made medical devices, but medical device regulation 2017-745 they have. But even in UMDR, if there are the custom medical devices which are falls under the implants, okay, class third implant devices, then those devices, for those devices also, European medical device regulation doesn't have any particular law on this. Like they doesn't have they come doesn't comes under the regulations. The third thing, and this is very once you come to know first time, like okay, the custom and medical devices falls under the implant, falls under the class third devices, but European medical device regulation doesn't have any law on this. Then very strange, you know. So what is the reason for that? So see, I'm going to explain. Now you come to know why the CE certification, why for the class third European medical device regulation doesn't have any law on this. So before getting into that, first understand which annexure describe these custom and medical devices. So that is European Medical Device Regulations, Annex XIII describe the custom and medical devices. So regarding the UMDR document, two things remember: the CE certificate doesn't require, and the second things it describe in the Annex XIII. Now third thing which I told you, like it doesn't require what? It doesn't require for the class 3 devices, European Medical Device Regulation. For the custom and medical devices, they doesn't have any law on this. So what was the reason for this? See, because just understand, even for the whatever the law is there in European Medical Device Regulation, if they put each and every law the way they have put for other medical devices, if the same kind of law, regulation and stringency, if they put over the custom and medical devices, then just understand and then just imagine lots of manufacturers will not take care or will not bother to manufacture that particular custom and medical devices. Why? Because it is the rule that custom and medical devices is only custom and medical devices when that particular device has been used for particular person. Okay, so they can't use they can't produce in the bulk. Okay, so they can't produce in the bulk. Okay, and so for getting a small amount of manufacturing for the small amount of medical devices, if they need to follow stringent rules and regulations, and for following stringent rules and regulations, so much investment is required, so much time is required, so much manpower is required. So then why manufacturer will bother to manufacture that particular custom made medical devices? And if manufacturer will not bother to make such kind of custom and medical devices, then those persons who need specific, medical devices or custom and medical devices, then where they will go? So then there is always a questions of about benefit and risk, right? Like in respect of the risk, what is the benefits? So it is always questions, okay? So that is the first thing. That is why even for the European Medical Device Regulation, they want to employ, but they can't implement such a stringent rules regulation on the custom and medical devices because manufacturer will not start manufacturing it. So that is why they have to give a little bit of relief on these technicalities requirement or documentation requirement, the second things. But on the same time, European Medical Device Regulation doesn't free them, because if they completely free them on a custom and medical devices, then it may possible some of the manufacturer will obey everything, and for the good maintenance practice, for the good clinical practice and everything, they design medical device in each and every perfect way. But some of the manufacturer may not, and if the some of manufacturer will not manufacture that custom and medical device in the proper way, then that medical device will harm the patient life. So on the same time, European Medical Device Regulations want to take authority or want to force manufacturer to make some proper manufacturing, but on the same time, they don't want to make very stringent to make the manufacturer reluctant to manufacturing that particular custom and medical device. So in that way, they are a little bit flexible. So European Medical Device Regulation flexibility is needed at this point because they have to follow the two tasks. The first, they need to ensure the patient's life. On the same time, they need to motivate, or they need to inspire, or they need to promote manufacturing of the custom-made medical device by the manufacturer. So this is the two things they need to maintain, and that is why European medical device regulation is a little bit flexible in these aspects for the custom and medical devices. Okay, so these are the thing. And so as we mentioned earlier, the custom made medical devices who are non-implantable, then European medical device regulations have some law on this, but for the implant they doesn't. Why? Because for the implant so much risk assessment is needed. Okay, and for the so much risk assessment, if notified body or regulatory bodies comes into this picture to regulate such implantable custom made implantable device manufacturing, if they want to regulate it, because it requires so many risk assessment and everything, then there are so many requirement has to be followed by the manufacturer also. So the manufacturer become reluctant to manufacture that custom made implantable device, because custom made implantable device have a huge requirement. And if European medical device regulation do some partial law making on that particular implantable devices which is comes under the custom made, then it is very unjustifiable if suppose patient gets some harm or patient gets some injury or some adverse event has been reported, then there will be the question mark onto the regulatory bodies that what they have done. If they have follow each and everything rules and regulations, and they have maintain each and every laws, then why it is injury or why it is harm to the patient. So regulatory bodies are also helpless, because they can't do partial law making and partial non-law making. They can't do that. They can't do the flexibility, because in case of the class 3rd medical device, very high risk devices. So if they need to follow the rule, they have to follow each and every aspects. And if they start going to follow each and every rules and each and every aspects of that custom made implantable devices, then they have to be produced by the manufacturer who manufacturing that custom made implantable devices. And as you know, the manufacturing the custom made implantable devices is not a bulk. It is only the person is specific, individual is specific. Then manufacturer become very reluctant to manufacturing that particular device. They also not bother to manufacture that. Now if they bother not to manufacture that particular implantable custom made medical devices, then where the patient will go? So that is the questions, and that is the problem, that European medical device regulation doesn't want to be very stringent. They doesn't want to follow stringent rules and regulation to the manufacturer for manufacturing the custom made implantable devices. But for the other custom made medical devices, they have some rules, but definitely those rules are not as much stringent as happening on the other medical devices. So these are the overall scenario on this. Now if you want to understand what are the particular requirement for for the custom and medical devices for the European medical device regulations and all in a detail, then just DM me. I will make a proper lecture on this, and we will discuss that thing there. But for this video, that's enough, because generally in this whole playlist, what we always talk about some terminology that you just need to get aware of those European medical device regulations terminology. And so this is one of the terminology which we had discussed today, and is about the custom and medical devices. These are the custom made medical devices or tailored medical devices. If you have any other questions or any confusions, then just comment on these videos, and we will look into that and get back to all of you, and let's see. So yeah, so that's it for the now, and we will meet in another videos with some another topic. So till then, bye, take care.